West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, 7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Monday, September 15th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. And, Bill, I'm looking forward to this debate.
Yes.
We should have a button that's like ding, 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 ding.
I know.
Ding,
This would be
ding.
fun.
I want to get your perspective. I want to get our listeners' perspective. Here's the thing I'm always thinking about, too, is like, guys, all right, there's a lot of people that don't like me on X. I understand that, right? They write comments there. Okay, here's a phone line. I'm going to give you a phone number.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
And here's the thing. You could call in and you could tell me how stupid I am for the whole city to hear. Because that's what we do on the show. This is where debate happens. Unlike anywhere else, where you get monologues and echo chambers. Here you get challenges and debates and discussion. The only requirement is you can't say some bad words because it's broadcast radio. But other than that,
That seems fair.
we want to have your conversation. And right now, conservatives are saying we have to fight back against the radical left or be murdered. Elon Musk tweeted that 2 days ago. Donald Trump taking that same angle. We've got to fight back against the radical left here in America. Are we, as conservatives, engaging in cancel culture? Are we not responding in unity? Is this a time to unite people together? Or is it time to root out the radical left? We're going to talk about it this hour. Want to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It's Monday, 53 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 83 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, DJT, talking to the press about those on the left like Charlie Kirk's assassin from Utah who hated traditional values and was in a relationship with a transgender man who is cooperating with investigators. However, the suspect, the assassin, is not cooperating with investigators, says the governor of Utah, and is, quote, deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology. And that's from the governor of Utah. Here's DJT.
The problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
A Loveland family says vandals set fire to a backyard fence and smashed an SUV window while targeting their memorial for Charlie. There were 5 children asleep inside the home when this happened over the weekend, raising fears for their safety. Friends and neighbors have rallied around the family as they repainted and repaired the damaged display. FBI Director Kash Patel, who some people say is compromised, goes before Congress tomorrow to talk about the handling of Kirk's assassination. Patel this morning.
And what we learned was there was evidence, DNA evidence that could be collected and had been collected, including a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop. Also, we went over to the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was discarded, and the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back to that later. I even walked into the wooded area in the ravine, so I knew from my investigative experience what I could bring to the table and what decisions I needed to make. And having the support of President Trump and the full support of the White House was what we needed for these resources to happen. And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
And VP JD will host the Charlie Kirk Show immediately following the Jeff and Bill Show here on KNUS this morning. And here is an interesting little segment from Bill Maher over the weekend.
And Charlie Kirk was a guy who, he was always talking. And I talked to him here. You know, the right-wingers say what you want about them, but they talk to you. They're not into this leftist thing. The left really has much more of a, I don't talk to you, I don't want to deal with you, you're deplorable, I can't break bread with you. Yeah. That attitude, and all the right-wingers, they don't have that attitude. No, again, I didn't vote for them. And Charlie Kirk and I certainly don't agree on much politically. But he sat here. He's a human being. He's not a monster.
And a husband and a father.
Yes. And I liked him. I liked them all. They're all nice people when you meet them in person. And they're not as crazy as they would. Nobody's as crazy as they make them out to be.
So stop voting.
Well, yeah, that in part.
Stop.
And look, political philosophers, one of my favorite, Yoram Hazony out of Israel, has tried to figure out what happened on the left because there has been a fundamental shift from Berkeley free speech, 1960s. I may not disagree with you, but I'll fight to the death for your right to speak the way you want to, right? That was a Democrat in the 1960s. They're gone right now, with the exception of a handful. So I watched this the other day. I watched Kyle Clark's statement about the importance of not using words and not using violence against words. Okay, he does this editorial video where he goes, "We should argue, we should debate. That's important, but it can't go to violence." And I'm going, Charlie. Okay, you're a classical liberal. That's not a derogatory term. That's an accurate description of the way you think about the world. Exactly. You are an old school Democrat in the realm of Berkeley free speechers in the 1960s. Okay, but you have to understand that you're now a small minority of the left these days. I'd say Bill would fall too under the category of a classical liberal. He believes in free speech, and that's great. Okay, yeah. A lot of the modern left does not believe in free speech.
No, not at all.
They think you should be shut down. You should be
controlled,
prosecuted, controlled. You're
censored.
A racist. You're a bigot.
Yes.
You're a terrible person for what you say. And they actively want to shut you down. So while I appreciate that, Bill Maher, I appreciate that, Bill Maher. And Bill Maher's just as critical of radical Islam, right? He gets the threat to what would be a classical liberalism. But political philosophers like Yoram Hazony have showed that could have never existed. What was created briefly in the 1960s was based upon Judeo-Christian values and beliefs, but could never sustain itself. So once the Democrats got more and more liberal, more and more progressive, they became more and more authoritarian. So you have to return to a Judeo-Christian philosophy because that brings about the most tolerant society. I think the most tolerant society is a Judeo-Christian society. It's definitely not a leftist society. Look at Colorado. We've had to sue the state 3 times on the same issue. Can a Christian practice their faith in public? Whether you're Jack Phillips or Lori Smith or now this counselor down in Colorado Springs. It's a progressive society is one of the least tolerant societies out there.
Absolutely. You can't have it. If you don't have God, you can't have it.
Right.
It just will not work.
Yes.
As our founding fathers knew and spoke to all the time. DJT on True Social this morning says a big trade meeting in Europe between U.S. and China has gone very well. A deal was reached on a certain company that young people in our country very much wanted to save. And DJT says young people will be very happy, and it's about TikTok. The president says he'll be talking to President Xi on Friday. All right, week 2 of the NFL. Broncos in Indianapolis. The Colts needed to kick a 60-yarder to beat the Broncos.
Rhodes will snap. Sanchez will hold. And the kick is no good. Denver's going to win. Denver's going to win.
Maybe not.
Oh, is there a penalty down in the middle of the field?
Yes, there is.
Right by the center. Oh,
yes.
My goodness. It is against Denver. Personal foul. Leverage. Defense number 96. Oh, that's
Climbing over each other, trying to block the field goal. Can't do that.
a huge penalty.
So leverage on
right in the
defensive
middle
line and just can't
See
do
the
it.
Leverage jumping over the top. That's where the penalty was called. And
But the Broncos,
that's not a little
as
penalty.
Billy said
That's for
earlier,
the
they
win.
made so many mistakes leading up to this thing.
Spencer Schrader. It's good, and the Colts have won.
And that was it. 29-28. Colts win it, and the Broncos fall to 1-1. And the Colts are undefeated at 2-0.
It'll be painful to watch that film. And yep, you know, we'll get the corrections made. So starts with me.
But the Eagles beat the Chiefs, so that's good news for the Broncos. Chargers and Raiders tonight. 50 in Broomfield, 51 in Parker, 53 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS Denver forecast this early Monday. Just a few passing clouds this morning. Temperatures in the low 50s by daybreak. For the rest of your Monday, looking terrific with sunshine, highs in the low 80s. Mostly clear tonight, lows down to 55. Mostly sunny with showers in the afternoon on Tuesday, highs near 80. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Eager to hear from you all on this. Feel free to join the conversation at 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Libs at TikTok looked into Blue Sky to see what they were posting regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then they gathered those together and posted them here. Okay. I hope they do Joe Rogan next. Nice. Can we do Ben Shapiro next? Someone should take out Ben Shapiro next. This is another one. By the way, each one of these is a different post from somebody. Okay. So think of this as 1, 2, 3. 24 posts. Okay. So glad Charlie got packed up. Ben Shapiro next, please. Can someone shoot Ben Shapiro next? J.K. Rowling next. J.K. Rowling next. Like, I'm glad that guy died, but they're going really hard on this is a dark day for America about a guy. I never heard of him until he was shot. Can we get J.K. Rowling next? Like the UK would be unbearable about it, but it would be a greater good for the trans people. Everyone is like Ben Shapiro next or Joe Rogan or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. But how about J.K. Rowling next? Do Ben Shapiro next. How about J.K. Rowling next? How about J.K. Rowling next? Anyways, let's do Ben Shapiro next. I hope they shoot Ben Shapiro next. Honestly, as much as I want to say, okay, do Ben Shapiro next, we really got to start rooting for a good Samaritan to hit up Dennis Prager. Let's make Matt Walsh next, please. That's a sampling of Blue Sky following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Came across this video, and a source that I know quite well leads me to believe that this is from Colorado.
Back. I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged! Back.
It's a mom talking to her two daughters that live here in Colorado saying, guess what? Best day ever. And the kids respond, Donald Trump died. Last night, Tom Tancredo made the argument at a visual for Charlie Kirk that we can't live with these people. How do you have a common nation, a common heritage, if they're not just disagreeing? They're not saying, oh, you guys are terrible, I don't like what you stand for, you're going to ruin this country, that type of thing. Okay? We're at a point where they're actively creating lists of people they would like to see dead. I don't know if I have a solution, Bill.
Who's the they creating the list, though? When you're talking about
all these people right now, they're going, well, let's do Ben Shapiro next. Let's do J.K. Rowling. They're leftists.
Is that different than responses when there's violence against left-leaning politicians? Is it different?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see the right doing this. I don't see them going, you know who's next? Let's go after Barack Obama next.
Let's jump in the Wayback Machine and look at the reactions when Paul Pelosi, Nancy's husband, was attacked. Elon Musk floated conspiracy theories about it. Charlie Kirk floated conspiracy theory about it being his gay lover. Same thing with Dinesh D'Souza. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out.
Did they call for more, though, to be attacked?
There were calls for more to be attacked, yeah. And finally, this is, but the idea is pointing out the idea that, hey, this is such and such, oh my gosh. And Donald Trump Jr. actually shared a Halloween costume that was inspired by the attacker. Okay. So again, there's callousness on both sides. That's all I'm trying to point out here. There is absolute callousness to humanity.
Do you see it at the same level?
Yes.
Do you think you think it's at the same level?
Yes,
really?
I do. Yes. Personally, yes. From where I see it, yes. I see the callous nature on both
Bill,
sides.
They're calling up for the next person to be assassinated.
I've seen this as well. I remember when what's her name? They can see Alaska from her house. God bless America. It's a Monday. I can't remember. Sarah Palin talked about the idea that maybe it's a time in this country that we have to resort to Second Amendment solutions.
Did she create a list of who should be assassinated next? Come on.
What?
Just
hang on
because
a second.
They're not the same.
Hang on. What are Second Amendment solutions? If the country is getting so bad we have to resort to Second Amendment solutions, what is the inference? We have to start shooting some people. That's the inference. So the fact that she doesn't have a list to me is irrelevant. It is the emotion behind it. It is the intent behind the statement. Yes, we are callous to each other. We are absolutely callous to each other.
So
absolutely.
If you believe that's the case, I think you're wrong in the sense. I think the left is far more radical and willing to engage in violence to push. And I think they're justified in their mind in doing it. I think they're godless. They have no self-restrictions on it. The ends justify the means. They're pure utilitarians. So you have a mother that is training her children to celebrate the death of the President of the United States. You have post after post on Blue Sky listing who they want to go after next. Even if, Bill, I'll grant you that there's a callousness that pops up on the right. I don't think it's at this level, but I'll grant that to you. How do we move forward as a nation? Because if it's just talk about it more, Charlie Kirk tried to do that. That was Charlie's whole mantra, and he got shot for it. So I don't think just talk about it is a solution with these people. So what do you do?
But hang on a sec, though, but with these people, who are these people?
People shooting, conservatives, calling for the next ones to be assassinated.
Okay, here's the big question. Do we know this shooter was this lib that we claim to? Do we know? We have claims from Governor Cox without anything backing it up. We don't have anything from social media. We don't have anything as far as group membership. Do we know for sure? And this is what I'm worried about. Or are we running around like this is Salem and we're looking for witches? Are we running around looking for witches? Because so far, I'm not saying he isn't a liberal. I'm saying that the information that we have so far doesn't point to liberal. In fact, the information we have so far, if you go on the engravings on those bullet casings, point to far-right conservatism. That points to grouper culture, Nick Fuentes.
Bill, come on. That's a load of baloney.
No, it's not. No, what is it? The casing? Hang on a sec. The casing?
Far-right. Catch fascist? Come on. That's right out of Antifa.
Wait, hang on. No. It's just because he says fascist, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily a lib. And remember that Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk have had beef for a while. Nick Fuentes has been kicked out of Turning Point America. He's gone at Charlie mercilessly, and he's on the right. Also, and here's the important part, it is the first message that most people missed, and I missed it until I talked to one of my kids that understands this internet culture much better than I do. That first message on the bullet casing. Notice his bulge. Ooh. That is an anti-furry message that makes its way through the far-right culture. That is a groper message.
You have the governor, you have the leader of the FBI saying that he became an extremist against Charlie Kirk and had embraced leftist ideologies.
Hang on a sec. What I'm saying is that someone could be deep into Nick Fuentes who dislikes Charlie Kirk and still dislike Charlie Kirk. What I'm looking for is the proof of statement about him being a lib. That so far I haven't seen. I'm not saying he isn't. But I'm just looking at the information we have so far. I understand that the FBI and the governor of Utah has said that, but they have provided no backing documents. I'm not, again, saying it's wrong. I'm just saying so far we have a lack of proof.
Okay.
And everyone is running down a path that hasn't been proven yet. You want to know how we get into this in this situation where we start shooting each other over people's statements and people's beliefs? This is it. We have zero proof that he is a dyed-in-the-wool leftist. And yet the assumption is
Bill, you can't say
he's
zero proof. You can't say that.
Yes, I can. What's your proof?
Head of the
what
FBI
is your proof?
and the governor, the people that are investigating this are saying it.
No, he has made statements and hasn't provided proof. I'm looking for proof of statement. Why is that difficult? Well, I don't understand why I should ask for them to prove the statement.
What you're doing is taking some weird gamer reflection as an out for overwhelming evidence. He had written on other things, catch fascist, okay?
Yes.
You have the governor, you have the head of the FBI, and because you got some insight on gamer culture, you're dismissing it entirely. And it's not just this guy. You had the shooting that took place at the Catholic school where the guy wrote terrible things all over the bullets he was sending to little Catholic kids.
Again,
okay?
Hang on. You're now changing and broadening the field.
No, I'm talking about all the violence that we're facing from the radical left, Bill, and it's always been that.
I am making a statement about the Kirk shooter. And despite the hey fascist catch, that doesn't prove what the FBI or what the governor of Utah says. And I understand you want to dismiss what I found out about gamer culture. However, the shooter is using and referencing that exact culture. In this conversation, that holds more weight than what the Utah governor and the FBI has provided so far. If they bring out more stuff so far, sure, he can be a lib.
Bill,
but it seems like we are making a lot of assumptions.
Violence coming from the left time and time and time again, and you're trying to get out on a technicality.
No, I'm not.
Rather than address the issue here.
No, I'm not. There's violence on both sides, and it happens, and that's where we are. We've talked about this before, that the violence that I'm concerned about here in America is that we've decided this just is our cover charge. This is the cover charge of being part of America. And when we stand around and look at, well, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault, what we're doing is not looking in the mirror. We're not having any self-reflection about the mirror and what we are reflecting outside on the world. It's exactly it. Both sides are violent. Both sides will resort to violence when they think it'll get them to their means. Both sides will.
And
we think it's justified.
They are equally violent.
I think they both have violent tendencies. I'm not sure about how we talk about being equal unless we do some sort of
which one produces more violence?
Unless we talk about, and going to some sort of a tally board or something else,
Sure,
and then it's a matter of how.
Let's analyze this.
Okay,
because
fine.
I've been down to these rallies over and over and over again. I've only been assaulted at one of them, and I've only seen violence happen on one side of them.
Yeah.
You go, January 6th, January 6th.
All right, no, wait, hang on a sec. That has to be relevant in the conversation. That has to be.
Let's tally it. Let's tally it, Bill. To that point, let's tally it. You got January 6th. What else?
I don't know. I didn't know we were going to have to do some sort of a scoreboard right now. If you give me a little bit of time, let's start working on a scoreboard. But that's not the point of my argument at this point. The issue for me is that both sides do, and the idea is that we're just ignoring it. We're like, we don't have any definitive proof that he absolutely was a dyed-in-the-wool leftist or Antifa. We don't have any proof of that outside of statements from the FBI and the governor. Now, remember, when you're sitting here and going, oh, the FBI tells me, hang on, if we go back to the Biden administration and they said the FBI said this, how many people listen to this show and go, oh, my God, it's the FBI. You're listening to one of those three-letter agencies. You guys are oh, my God, you're taking advantage of. How many people would call and say that? But now today, the three-letter agency is telling the truth. In both cases, I ask for proof. I ask for proof of statement. So far, we haven't seen proof of statement. I'm open to it being there, but I'm not willing to come to conclusions like the majority of Americans are right now. Majority of Americans are more than willing to come to conclusions that they don't have proof of. That's on them, not me.
They have plenty of proof of.
Where is it?
But, Bill, here's the bigger question. How do you build a nation with these differences? I mean, you have one side that believes that we're one nation under God, that our rights come from God, that family structure is absolutely critical. We want limited government, free markets. You have another side that wants a nation without God, doesn't believe our rights come from God, wants to destroy the family, wants government in every aspect of your life, and is willing to tax you to build every government program to provide for you. How do you, to Tom Tangrado's point, how do you build a nation, and what becomes our common themes and threads by which this nation can survive? Give me a call. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. My question today is spurred by Tom Tancredo. Last night, we were at a vigil for Charlie Kirk, and he just said, we're not a united nation anymore. This is not, you can't live with people that want you dead. And you got a lot of comments coming out of Blue Sky listing who they would like to see killed next. Elon Musk posting, this guy that said, all far right need to have a target on their backs and deserve to die. One down, millions to go. Elon Musk saying we must fight back or we're going to be murdered. Some people saying Trump needs to be a uniter here. But can you unite with people that feel like that? You clearly can't have conversations with them. When I try to go talk to him downtown, I get kicked in the back. Charlie Kirk got shot. And now they have a list of who else they want to go after. How do you have a country with people like that? Let's go to the phone lines. Spencer, Elizabeth. Good morning, Spencer. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. My wife and I and a couple of our neighbors were at Brave yesterday. We saw you speak. You did a great job.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot.
It was a fantastic event. It was nice to walk in and see hundreds and hundreds of people that were kind of there in lockstep and suffering through the same thing. It's nice to know that we're still out there. But Bill, you couldn't be any more wrong. There's look at the facts.
Okay, what are they?
The person assassinated a conservative leader. The person was in a homosexual relationship with a man transgendering, going through the transgender process. So it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck. It's probably a duck.
What's the duck? No, here, tell me the conclusion that you're making, Spencer. So you're telling me that hang on a second. Are you telling me that a conservative
left.
Spencer, are you telling me that a conservative wouldn't ever dare pick up a gun and kill another conservative?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Good.
But what I am saying is this person was.
Thank you so much. Now let's move to the next thing. Let's move to the next trans thing. Are you telling me that a conservative couldn't be in love with someone that might be transgender or going through a transition? A conservative couldn't do that. That wouldn't be possible.
I don't believe a person would identify as conservative if they were doing that.
But they could have conservative ideas and still be in love with someone or be in a relationship. Couldn't they?
Even the most radical left can have conservative ideas. Come on.
Hang on a sec. Wait, Spencer, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but based on searches, internet searches, studies that have been done, the highest percentage of internet searches for trans porn occur in Republican states. Now, whether or not they're doing that for gatekeeping, I don't know. Whether or not they're doing that for personal pleasure, I don't know. But statistics
show... Are you saying
show...
Republican states or Democrat cities?
Republican states.
We tend to end up with some Democrat cities in Republican states.
Okay, if we want to do this,
I'd love to see your source on that.
Great. Okay, fine, we'll do this. Fine, Spencer. It's from lawsuit.org. 10 most transgender porn states as far as searches: Texas, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, Kansas, Virginia, North Carolina, Illinois, Minnesota, Mississippi, Minnesota, Illinois,
states.
Mississippi, and Tennessee.
Or Democrat cities.
Texas?
Where's the
Democrat city in Texas?
These states are completely filled with nothing but conservatives?
No. What I'm saying is the highest percentages are, and I'm not drawing a conclusion saying they are or are not interested in. I'm just saying that's the idea, that there are people in there that are searching for them. So people that may be involved, maybe in a conservative state, may have conservative ideas, could be attracted to someone that might be transgender. That's all I'm saying, Spencer. And the issue is you've come to a conclusion, as I've just shown, without actual proof. Because you have a belief about what someone should be. There you are.
He doesn't have actual proof. He's not just making stuff up.
Hang on a sec. I just asked him about whether or not a conservative could shoot another conservative. And he goes, yeah. Okay, so his first plank is gone. Now we're worried about the fact that does transgender move that he's... What? Yes, he said because he shot a conservative, that means the shooter has to be liberal. I disagree.
He used it as one of the preponderance of evidence that this guy was not motivated out of conservative values to shoot Charlie Kirk.
Nick Fuentes doesn't like Charlie Kirk.
Guess what? Nick Fuentes isn't a conservative either.
He didn't shoot him.
Hang on a sec, but there has been beef between the two, and if the person was a big fan of Nick and wanted to take out someone that was bothering Nick and was everything else. I mean, how many times have we resorted to the idea that violence is the solution for our problems? This is one of the things we've been talking about, Spencer. You've heard us on the
Bill,
show. We have been using our Second Amendment to exercise our First Amendment.
There has
it's not
been
that hard.
Examples of the trans community motivated by their anger and frustration towards conservative Christians of bringing violence there. It happened at that school in Minnesota.
Since
You got the school that happened in Tennessee.
Since 2018,
okay?
Stop.
Go ahead.
Since 2018, you have a grand total of 6 examples well over 130 shootings. That is a minority percentage. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. If the percentage of the actions taken within the data set show that it's a minority, it doesn't mean it's causal. That's the problem. You don't have a causal relationship here.
You've literally argued like potential of possible idea that the guy was a hard right that hated Charlie Kirk and wanted to shoot him, and then dismissed the fact that the trans community has been targeting some of the conservatives. And
not dismissed.
And you go, so in one hand, you're willing to argue a small likelihood of percentage that this guy was motivated by the right. And then when we bring evidence to you, you go, well, the overwhelming evidence is that the trans community isn't violent.
Spencer, you didn't bring any evidence, man. You didn't bring any evidence.
What?
You said,
I just listed the facts.
No, you didn't, Spencer.
Spencer,
the fact is because someone shoots a conservative doesn't make the other person liberal that pulled the trigger. And you acknowledge that. And that is your first statement of fact. No. That is your first statement of fact.
I acknowledge that, yes, conservatives can attack other conservatives.
Do we know that because someone shot a conservative, do we know for certain that if someone shoots a conservative, they have to be a liberal?
Do we know?
Thank you.
You're arguing from extremes, Bill. You're trying to get out on a percent.
No, that's BS. No, that's BS.
Bill, I didn't hear what you said. Could you say that again so I can give you a real answer?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all. Spencer, you said because X, Y, and I challenged that, and you can't prove it. Done. That's it.
No, Bill, he's using a preponderance of evidence. That's
what preponderance of evidence?
Aspect of it.
No, it isn't.
That's one aspect of it. He's building a case. Spencer was building a case
but
as
his,
to
but
why
his first
this
plank
is.
of evidence doesn't work, so it's
Yes,
not evidence.
Does.
No, it doesn't.
Are you kidding me?
No, it doesn't.
You have a dead conservative, okay? You
so
have the FBI,
okay,
you have the governor, all saying this guy was motivated by the left, and you're like, in my mind, I found this line of on the cartridge to mean something X.
No,
therefore, you don't have evidence.
Hang on a sec.
Bill,
no, this is not in my
have
mind.
The evidence.
No, this is not in my mind. I went and researched what the phrases were,
Good
and
for you.
I have been. I appreciate that someone in this conversation did the research. That probably would help us move forward a little bit. Now, here's the thing.
Good Lord.
I know, Spencer. Good Lord.
There's
I can't believe this is so
Bill.
crazy.
There's no helping you, man. I
Dude,
don't know what to say.
I'm trying to help you, Spencer. Spencer, I'm trying to help you. You start off with this broline and you're wrong.
You're trying to justify this killing
Dude,
is what you're trying to do.
No, I'm not trying to justify the killing. I've never done that. Stop that. That is silly, Spencer. Thanks for the phone call. That's silly. See, just like you assume that because the person that killed the conservative has to be liberal, you assume that I'm trying to justify the killing. I've never done that. How dare you? Spencer, you're better than that. You've called this show before. Please, get off that. That's silly. All I'm looking for is proof of statement. That's it. I went and looked for proof of statement based on what we're reading on the casings. I know what those things on the casings mean now. I went and looked.
You know what one thing means?
No, I know what all of them mean.
Okay. And are all of them far right? Because Bella Ciao's not far right.
Actually, Bella Ciao appears on playlists for Nick Fuentes fans.
And it's used by Antifa, Bill.
Hang on a sec. Nick Fuentes fans, it appears in playlists that are popular amongst them.
Okay, I understand the core of it. You believe that it was a Groyper that killed Charlie Kirk. He's on the phones because the phone lines are hot. Feel free to give us a call.
I'm open to the idea. I'm open to the idea.
303-696-1971.
I'm not coming to the conclusion that he was absolutely a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, especially coming from the small town in Utah, given his upbringing, given the fact that Grandma says she doesn't know a single Democrat. I'm not coming to the conclusion, despite most of America, that he was a liberal. I'm open to both sides, and I'm looking at both pieces of information.
America's not making this up. America's not just like pulling stuff down. They're listening to reports from the FBI. They're listening to statements made by the governor. Now, you can say they're all wrong because you did your research on the internet. But I don't think it's fair to demean people like Spencer who are listening to the official accounts and going with that.
Spencer is the one that said I was trying to justify the killing. That's over the boundaries. I'm not trying to justify the killing. I'm talking about who. And what I'm worried about is that we are reading into the motivations or the possible motivations of the killer that aren't there. And guess what? And then we're getting more angry at each other. And this is the exact discussion. The fact that we can't live with each other anymore. That's where you started with, that we're a divided country.
That's the original question.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If we're wrong about this, there's your example of why we can't live with each other anymore. That's exactly it. Because of jumping to conclusions and deciding who people are and making these assumptions.
No, I don't.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Bill, I don't think we can't live together because we jump to conclusions. I don't think we can live together because when one side gets angry about something, they burn cities down. And when the other side gets angry, they go have prayer vigils. I don't know how you live together in a nation like that. All right. Phone lines are super hot. Can you, he's taking, I love
yes, what do we need?
The conversation. Can you, let's do Tony.
Oh, yeah, sure. We can do Tony.
All right. Tony Littleton, you're on with Jeff and Bill. Good morning, Tony.
Hey, good morning. So this subject, I guess I'm troubled mostly by the fact that the tensions are escalating, even right here on the show with you guys. And the question is, why is this different than what's gone on in the past? I'll recall back to 9/11. Right after 9/11, 68% of the people thought that Islam and Muslims specifically were a threat to the country. George Bush recognized that's a real problem. And he went out, and you'll probably remember that speech he gave, one of the earliest speeches, him saying, this isn't a Muslim problem, this is an extremist problem. And he did everything he could to try and diffuse the tension that was building in the country. And within about 3 weeks, that number dropped to under 30%. That's what we get. That's what you want from a president. Remember when during Obama's term, that guy that went into that church, white guy goes into a church, he's invited in, shoots about 8 people.
Terrible. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then at the service, Obama, the church had won extended grace, and then Obama went in on what was one of his most notable speeches, and he gave a speech about grace, forgiveness. And then, if you recall, I mean, he broke into singing the song about grace, and the whole church kind of erupted and followed.
I get the idea that
okay, so,
I get it, but look, at the same time, we didn't just allow radical Islamist groups to fester. We went after them. So you have people that are shooting kids.
Okay.
Yes. You have people that are shooting conservatives. You have a whole list of people on Blue Sky that are creating who they want to see next dead. What do you think the government should do with that?
Okay. All right. So let's stay with the facts. What the facts that we know. One, the FBI has, through their own database, the right has been responsible for the vast majority of political violence. Now it's emerging
like what? Like what? What's an example of political violence that the right has been a part of?
Assassinating two Congress people in Minnesota 3 months ago. That's an example.
That's an example. You said a vast majority. You said a vast majority, Tony, comes from the right.
Yes.
What's the vast majority?
I'm saying the statistics they keep, and we're talking hundreds of incidents. Hundreds. I can't name all these hundreds.
Name one.
I mean, it's what? Then the Pelosi attack.
You think that was from the right?
January 6th. Pardon me?
You think that was from the right? You think the Pelosi attack was from the right?
That was from the right. He was after Pelosi. He was after her, not him.
I don't think that was a conservative. That's not right.
It was a conservative. Now, hold on. I just want to stay with the facts. So Trump has come out, and he's saying it's all radical radical left, and they're a threat, and he's building this thing up, and he's ignoring all the incidents from the right when he, like the governor of Utah, has been trying to really do Trump's job, but he doesn't have the bully pulpit that's as big. He's been saying, hey, this is both sides, and it has to stop.
Tony, nobody is advocating for retribution violence, okay? No one's saying out there, this is why the right and the left are different. We don't burn cities down when we get angry. We go hold prayer vigils, okay? But what they're trying to point out is, why do we want to continue?
6th.
But
Don't
Tony,
forget
why,
January 6th,
why do we want,
biggest
and they were
incident of
prosecuted,
violence in
but
this
Tony, they were
country.
prosecuted. But why do we want to live in a country?
And
This
then-
is the
and
bigger
then
issue.
let go.
Tony, this is the bigger issue. Why do you want to live in a country with people that want to burn flags, create lists of conservatives they want to kill, all right? Shoot up kids in these schools, okay?
Jeff,
We're tired of what the
on-
left is doing
Jeff,
to this nation. And my
it's
question
not-
to you
that's
is,
not fair.
my question
That's
to you
you-
is,
that's
do you
you-
want the FBI going after him?
I don't. That's not. I'm not. That question is that I don't want any violence. And if there's somebody committing violence, Trump uses even the shooter that went after him as his example. That guy was not from the left. The fact is, he wasn't from the left. He was hunting down both Biden and Trump. He just shot the first one he'd have a chance at.
But Tony, I
And
appreciate
Trump
the call.
uses
We got to
that
get to a
as-
break. But here's the question. This is what Trump's raising, okay? We among those we got to live with in this nation, you got people that want to burn the American flag, loot cities, create riots, kill conservatives. So what do we do? What do we do? And I understand that Tony's saying, well, after 9/11, we didn't go after all the Muslims. But at the same time, we didn't allow extremist Muslims to build little cells here. We broke them up, and we ended it. And I read 24 lists here on Blue Sky about who's going to be killed next. How do you live with people like that? I played audio of little kids celebrating the idea that Donald Trump might be dead. That video came from Colorado. How do we live together? We'll continue the conversation. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
All right, here's what we're debating. Yoram Hazony, Israeli political philosopher, big conservative leader of NatCon here in America, okay? He writes, liberal friends have been telling me that the Trump administration is going too far in its efforts against the revolutionary left almost since the minute the president took office. In the wake of the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk last week, here's my complete reply. Number one, democracy can't survive without courageous, determined, ongoing efforts to uproot terrorist organizations like Antifa and the Muslim Brotherhood and the murderous ideologies that drive them. Two, anyone advocating such absolutely necessary efforts is immediately accused of being, quote, an authoritarian, unquote, by liberals who love to give speeches in favor of democracy but can't stand to see it defended by force. Do we need to defend it? Is it time to root these murderous ideologies out? Or are we becoming authoritarian? You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.